Namaste everybody. Tonight's Vinyasa practice, Monday, getting towards the Easter week now, so Good Friday this week, and it's been a crazy few weeks really. It's very tempting to sort of crash through lots of practices and cram in lots of stuff, and although this is a Vinyasa practice and it is quite intermediate level, shall we say, there's still the opportunity here to ground yourself, to find steadiness and clarity. I'm going to spend some time in some of the poses, so there will be vinyasas and there will be a lot of effort, but we will also be holding some poses, and these will be timed holds. So if you need to take a break at any point, then take a break. So first of all, we're going to start this. It's going to sort of mess with your mind slightly. We're going to start it quite differently. So we're going to sit down into our seated position, find a comfortable cross-legged position. So anything you might need for this class potentially might be a blanket to pop under your knees for the low lunges, depending on what floor you're on, and maybe a block or a cushion if you need some support in some of the other poses that are coming up later in terms of the side angle stretches. So it's up to you really. We're going to start with a headstand as well, so you might want to fold your mat over if you need to, just to give your head a little bit of extra support. So first of all then, we're going to bring ourselves into practice and considering really how we're feeling. We might be feeling lots of mixed emotions at the moment, and certainly sort of maybe the novelty of being inside has worn off a little bit. So being honest with ourselves, holding the emotions, recognising them and not pushing them to one side, but acknowledging them and feeling them is all part of this. So we're going to carefully then drop weight into the pelvis, sit up tall, and just bring our hands where our elbows can be under our shoulders. So it might be that the hands are a little bit further back, the shoulders drop down, the sides of the neck lengthen, and we've got a soft face. And so we're just going to sit and rest for a moment. Notice what is happening. Closing your eyes and letting the body settle. And as every cell starts to sort of effectively sink a little bit, we can just tune into our breathing. So 3-stage breathing, breathing into the belly, drawing the breath up to the top of the lungs. And then gently breathing out, making that out breath longer than the in breath. Just dropping the shoulders down again, trying to avoid them hunching up. So just dropping them down. Take this focus, tune into it, tune into the sort of level of vibration that you're operating at the moment. So as you start to honestly tune into yourself, I'd like you to sort of focus on that for this practice. Wherever you're at, whether you're taking poses for longer or whether you're taking rests in between, then take this focus, draw it into yourself, and just start to notice the breath, the quality of the breathing, the length of the spine, and the sort of, like I said, the vibration of the body at this present time. So unusually today, we're going to bring ourselves into a headstand to start with. So this could be a tripod headstand, or it could be a normal classic headstand. That's entirely your call. Okay, so we're taking a headstand, and then we're taking a child pose straight after, and then we're going to lie down on our backs for a bit of lying practice before we start to actually bring in some proper movement. So if you're confident with your headstand, then take it easy. You can go straight into it. If you prefer, you can be against a wall. Obviously be careful of anything in your house that might get knocked off or anything that might damage you. So building the pose, we're always looking in headstand for the sides of the neck to be as long as possible, the sides of the body to be as long as possible. So bearing that in mind, tuning into your breathing, we're going to come in. So if you're taking classic, then obviously measure up your proportions, elbows under shoulder heads, wide the width of your arms, open up the hands and open up that clasp, and lifting the thumbs up, tucking the chin in and nestling the head just into that little cave, opening up the shoulders, widening and pushing down through those forearms and the elbows. So there's very little weight in the head to start with, and then carefully tuck the toes under and lift your bottom. This might be enough for you at this stage, or if you want to go further, then you're carefully lifting yourself up into the halfway pose and then up into the full pose. So sucking the energy in, and as you start to push down and lift up, and this really starts to bring some focus into the pose and the practice straight away. Keep breathing here, keep stretching up, keep lengthening the sides of the neck, lengthening the sides of the body, and holding, breathing, holding, breathing. Keep the focus, keep the attention, keep the eyes open, keep the drishti staring out into the middle distance. Holding for a bit longer here. And the longer this pose is held, something changes. So we start to see how the breath changes. How that maybe if the mind loses focus on the pose, we lose the pose. So be careful. If you feel a bit wobbly, carefully bring yourself out. So 2 more breaths here, holding your headstand. Could be supported against the wall, no problem. And settling yourself. Lovely. As you bring yourself down then, you're carefully lengthening the spine, really getting that bottom over the heels as far as you can, into a swan stretch first to lengthen out the shoulders, open up the armpits, and then carefully tucking the chin in and bringing yourself into a child pose. So the bandha's lightly engaged now to warm up the innards, and then keep breathing into the kidneys, breathing into the ribs, and obviously the front of the ribs is constricted, so we're breathing into the back here. 2 to 3 more breaths here. Lovely. And then carefully does it, we're bringing ourselves down onto our backs. So supine on the floor, lying on the floor. We're going to lie into an Apanasana to start with. So just a supported Apanasana as we normally do. So carefully levelling up, finding where you've got that natural lordosis, that little gap underneath the lower back, and settling yourself down. Hugging the knees into the chest, releasing that lordosis so the spine starts to lift and curl and stretch away and release off. So breathing out, hug the knees in. Breathing in, releasing off. Keep the head and the neck nice and long, stretching through the top of the head, settling the shoulders down. So here then we're going to take a variation. So we're going to bring the knees above the hips, stretch the hands along the floor, and you might want to roll the shoulders back and down and stretch through the top of the head and tuck the chin in. Okay, floating the legs up, and then carefully does it. We're going to stretch the left leg away, and it's not going to hit the floor, but it's going to stretch along the floor. Okay, stretch away, and then you're going to bring that knee into the chest, so the other knee. So you're stretching the legs apart, breathing here,
keeping the lower back as neutral as you can, breathing. Holding here, see if you can bring that knee in a little bit closer. Relaxing the head down. Bring that knee in, hug the knees into the chest, release the lower back. Momentarily stretch the arms again along the floor, lengthen the back of the neck, bring the knees above the hips, and then carefully stretch the right leg away, floating it off the floor, and then draw the left knee in, stretching away through the right and drawing in through the left. Don't forget to breathe, sucking in the bandhas here, breathing, holding. See if you can bring that knee in a little bit more, keep breathing. See if you can keep the quality of the breath, it's quite hard work. Lovely. One more here. And then carefully relax it off. Bring the knees back in, release off. Roll around if you need to release the lower back there. Well done, everyone. So carefully does it then, and we're just working really into sort of the side of the iliacus here, so part of the iliopsoas. So carefully then, we're going to come up now to a plank position. Okay, so we're going to take some movement and start to move towards our sort of vinyasa style movements, our Surya Namaskars. So to start with, I'm going to find our plank position, so really big quality alignment at the front, bringing the shoulders, shoulder heads above the elbows and the wrists, roll the shoulders away and push everything into the floor so you feel the shoulder blades sliding apart, stretching through the top of the head. Bring yourself into your classic plank pose, so stretching through the toes and through the heels and holding. So here we're going to bring in, a bit like we just did, going to bring in the left knee, avoid the arch of the back and draw it in. Keep pushing through the right leg, draw the left knee in and hold. Keep using the breath, draw the energy into the ribs and suck in the bandhas. And then carefully stretch it out. Rest down if you need to and take a swan stretch in the middle. And then bring yourself back up onto the other side. So up into your plank pose, squaring and pushing through the toes and the heels, lengthening up and away, and then avoiding the arch in the back, bringing the knee in and pushing back through the left leg. Holding, breathing. It's not easy, so lifting and pulling in, just like we did on our backs, stretching away. Keep breathing here. And then when you're ready, stretch back into the plank, knees down, back through to your swan stretch, and then change it into a child pose, tucking the knee in and draping yourself, holding here. Settling the breath down. Lovely, excellent. So from here then, going up into our first down dog. So making sure that you're making that effort to get the alignment just right at the front, opening the hands, sealing the pose, rolling the shoulders away, pushing the floor away, lifting the toes and bringing yourself back into a soft dog. So if you need to open up the arms a little bit, great. Drop the head down and see if you can just stretch and lengthen out and keep the weight moving away from the shoulders and out through the back end. High heels, soft knees, lengthen. Keep breathing here. Pushing through the big toes to activate the arches of the feet and the big toe joints. Lovely. Excellent. Holding here, lifting your heels a little bit more and then starting to straighten the legs. And then draw the energy up the legs as you settle into a more traditional down dog. Lovely. Deep breath in, stride or jump forward to your hands and extend. Ardha Uttanasana. So feet together, knees are bent, hands to the shins, roll the shoulders back and down, drop the tail slightly and then lengthen through the top of the head and lift. So you feel the back start to engage, particularly good if you've been a little bit sedentary. Lovely. Breathe out, fold. Very soft. Breathe in, push the floor away, knees are bent, stretch up nice and tall, and breathe out. Hands to Namaste. Excellent. So we're now up, ready to take our variations on Sun Salutation A. So there are going to be a few variations here. If you want to carry on and do your usual A's and B's, that's absolutely fine. And I'll talk you through what we're going to do. So there's going to be a sort of plank chaturanga variation. I'm going to leave up dog out for now. So I'm going to do that twice and into down dog, back to plank, chaturanga, plank, down dog. Okay, so I'm going to take that variation a couple of times. Okay, and then we're going to lie prone and take variations on up dog and cobra. Okay, then plank, then down dog again. Okay, then standard Surya Namaskars. So don't worry, I'll call it when we get there. So take a deep breath in, sweep up nice and tall, lengthen, stretch up. Breathe out, soften and fold. Breathe in, extend, and that can be your Ardha if you prefer. Breathe out, fold. Place striding through to your plank. Find your plank, roll the shoulders, dipping that tail so the spine is nice and long and in a line, nicely aligned. Lovely. Carefully does it. Lower to your chaturanga and up to your plank. Lovely. Lower to your chaturanga. It doesn't have to be big. And up to your plank and into your down dog. Excellent. Settle here for a moment. Lovely. Take a deep breath in, look up, stride or jump forwards, extend. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, push the floor away, bend the knees, lift up all the way up, and breathe out. Lovely. So carefully does it then. I'm going to take that again. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in if you want that to be the Ardha to activate the back. And breathe out, fold. Place striding to your high plank. Find your plank, rolling your shoulders.